Good morning. What's up, guys? How we doing? Hope we're having a good morning here so far. Well, the market here today, if we take a look up top, I mean, I gotta tell you, it's looking like an honest to God, maybe a little bit of a trend here today, huh? So, I'm gonna execute still off of the 2-minute chart here today. Still a scalping mentality. I'm not gonna bet on things going extraordinarily far. I mean, if we look at basically the range on the whole day, we're not quite 150 points. So it's not tremendous, but we're closing in on 150. If we can get a 200, 250, maybe a 300 point range, all of a sudden we're blowing the ranges of the recent past out of the water, which would be very nice to see. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Michael, James, Marshall, good to see you guys. Perfect. What's up, brother? How we doing? All right, so we have a tight little channel here. Obviously, number one concern, at least as of late, with a tight channel like this. Again, this is a 2-minute chart. Don't overthink it, just draw the line. With a tight channel like this, number one concern is, hey, turns into a sideways trading range. You get stuck long near the top of the trading range. We have to keep an eye out for that. I'm not against getting long in this trend here, by the way. We have a minute 15 intraday trend, by the way, right? Bottom of your screen, daily, still a range market. But intraday, we're looking like a little bit more of a strong bull push. However, if I do get long at the close of a bull bar, closing at the intraday high, I gotta be willing to cut it if I think we're entering a sideways trading range. All right, that's the plan here. So 52 seconds out, see what we get. Trading Chris, good to see you. Carlos, Giovanni Joe, what's up, brother? Jason, Venny, Joseph, Patel, good to see you. All right, 37 seconds. Yeah, that 5-minute up top. Top left is the 5-minute. 5 minutes looking reasonably clean here, huh? 2-minute. Pretty big bar there on the 2-minute, but that's still within reason. 20 seconds out. All right, bulls, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Six seconds. See if I can get a little buy here. Oh my God, you're buying the high of day? Damn right I'm buying the high of day. Let's see if we can get a little push. All right. All right, let me show you what the hell's going on here. There we go. Good setup there for me on the 2-minute, by the way. I like that setup a lot. Now, let's just see if it works for us, huh? Driving manually, by the way, fingers on the hotkeys. Yep, ATR on the 2 minutes currently just below 13. Range on that last bar was over 25. So yeah, a bit of an outsized bar. We understand that though. They're just pulling this on back. Now remember here, we could see this just a bull channel, so a little bit of heat in this setup. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of heat. But if we end up taking out wick lows, essentially where my stop's at, then I want to stop out and move on. But, you know, you can't necessarily expect these moves to just instantly resolve when we've been seeing a little bit more of a range market lately. That's okay. Still a setup I got to put on. All right, there's the rollover, sitting 2 points in the red, 1 point in the red. By the way, I did hit my 5K goal yesterday in the afternoon. I got off stream. Oh, shit, what was I? I think I was up. What was I up at the end of stream yesterday? Was it 3,500 or was that the day before? I think at the end of stream yesterday I was up 2,900. And then I hit my 5K goal, and then I traded I traded one of my take profit pros individually actually on the mini yesterday and added some on top. It's good afternoon. That was separate from the 5K goal though. Was it 2,300? Yeah, I don't remember. I have a very short trading memory, as you guys have found out. Which I think is a good thing. Alright, Bulls, come on now. Take us up through that little wick. These bears are playing with me. Relatively neutral on the rollover there. All right, we got a minute, 2 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. I gotta tell you, I mean, at best here so far on this scalp, at best we were, what, 10 points? Yeah, maybe 9.5 points in the money. Looking for more on this trade here. So let's see how this bar closes here. We have 37 seconds till the rollover. There we go. See, now if we could, there's a couple of options on a day like today. We'll see if this ends up even getting a push through this little wick higher, if the Bears, I'm sorry, if the Bulls just kind of give up and let the Bears take it back a little bit for a little pullback. I mean, we've seen a lot of sideways action here. But you have a lot of options here in more of a cushy, soft bull trend. It's not an aggressive bull trend, it's kind of a soft bull trend. As it moves higher, if it moves higher, we'll see here. Hopefully we do. You could add on another setup. Like, let's say we got another strong bull close. Maybe I'm 25 points in the money, for example. Not that I necessarily would wait that long on this trade, but let's say I'm 25 points in the money and we get a strong bull close. Closes at basically at the high of the bar. In this market right now, I'd pull it in most cases. But in a big trend market, I'd probably add. Because that's, what I would probably do is pull the scalp on the way up. And then if we get that strong bull close, I'd re-enter on the scalp. That's what I would do in this market. But in a big trend market, I'd probably, in most cases, end up holding through that move and add on the strong bull close. I mean, you guys see I have 57 micros, but I'm copy trading that across many accounts. So it's, if we're being real, it's a pretty small position. I have plenty of room to add if I want to. I don't plan on adding here, though. Dollar bill. Nico, do you still dollar cost average on losing trades? Yeah, sometimes in a range. I did some of that in the afternoon yesterday, actually. On the Take Profit Pro account that I was trading individually in the afternoon. And it worked out just fine. Now, that's not going to work out just fine if you do it in a trend, by the way. We're not after luck here. We're after math. So in a range, it can make mathematical sense to dollar cost average in. In a trend, it makes sense to DCA into winners, right? If you're with the trend, not losers. In a trend market. In a range market, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to add to winners because you're probably at now, let's say you're shorting the top of a range. You're now probably in the bottom of the range. You probably just take it off rather than add. It's not likely to go extraordinarily far. But in that same range market, if you, let's say, short the top of a really obvious range and you have confidence that the range is real and the breakout's not going to succeed, then you could add to a loser. Now, if the breakout ends up succeeding, you gotta know when to cut it. Right, but everyone's all scared of doing these things. There's a million ways to trade, you guys. A lot of ways to make the math work. Not just bull flags with a 3-to-1 reward to risk. Come on, man. Yes, that sounds right. So anyway, that was the P&L at the end of stream yesterday. And I finished the day just over the daily goal. Well, that's actually not true. Again, I traded one of my Take Profit Pros individually and added like another, what was it, $1,000 or something? 900 bucks, 1,100, I don't remember. All right, well, we're in a sideways trading range, so this is fine as far as I'm concerned right now because we've seen a lot of this as of late. Now, if this starts pulling back and giving us hard closes near the low of a bear bar, we really have only seen that kind of before the trend really took shape, the intraday trend. Now, again, this is not a trend market. It's just an intraday trend in a range market, so we got to keep an eye on that. But the sideways stuff is fine until it's no longer sideways. It's going to close kind of right at the bottom of this little range that we're seeing. Got to give it another bar. Nico, what's your ask from the market on this trade when you consider the recent pushes and the ATR dropping a bit? My ask right now is to trade the price action. That's what I'm looking at right now. This changes a lot. It depends on the day. But right now, with volatility going really, really tight and then expanding and then really, really tight and then maybe expanding, whatever way we go, I have to see, is the honest answer. All right, we got 60 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. I want to see how this closes. If we see a controlled close, I might just cut it. If it's a reasonable entry that I would take short. The problem is right now, I would not have sold this close because it's right at the bottom of a sideways trading range. Oh, there's a doji. ATR now is about 12 and a quarter. Kind of tight. I don't want to complain too much about ATR because, again, it's a 2-minute chart, so it's going to be a little lower than what we're used to seeing on the 5-minute. But also, you know, yesterday afternoon, well, actually, was it? I think it was more like noon or 1 o'clock. That ATR really, really dipped yesterday. But I mean, listen, when you're looking at the market, bottom of your screen, doing this lately, we've been doing fine. We've been making money. The problem is, though, you know, it's a little frustrating when it does this for months and months on end. Yeah, well, now, good morning. Okay, so when I first initially entered this trade, let's see back this far. No, not really. That right there is essentially what I would draw as the trend line. So, of course, I was aware of that upon entry. But here we are. The bull bears are trying to pull this back. I'm okay taking out a little bit of heat, but there comes a point where it's time to cut it. We're just not there yet. Stop is here for a reason. That's my protective stop. All right, that's the rollover of the 2 minute. We have 56 seconds till the rollover here of the 5. The 5 minutes essentially a doji right now. Yeah, Roy. Roy says he blew all of his accounts yesterday due to an Apex copier issue. I've been there as well with copier issues, blowing a bunch of funded accounts. God, it's frustrating. It's like you had one job, to build a reliable copier. And they fuck it up. I've been using the affordable indicators one for Take Profit Trader and Apex through NinjaTrader, and it has worked very well 99% of the time. Yesterday I had a weird thing where it wasn't filling in one of my accounts until I reset it. I don't know why I did that, but it's working now. And that's the first issue I've had with it. But I like that one a lot. This seems to be a really good copier. If I have issues, I will report. Yeah, Roy, it's called the Affordable Indicators Trade Copier. I think I also have the risk management feature. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're starting to kind of creep back into that little sideways trading range. It's taking it bar by bar here. Brandon, good morning. How we doing? All right, here's the rollover of both the 5 and the 2 minute. Both of them here. All right, we have 20 seconds till the rollover here of this 2 minute bar. Man, this market's a little slow right now, isn't it? All right, rollover in 3 seconds. Inside rollover. See that? See if we snap up that bottom and close near low. Yeah, I see that little difference between the S&P and the Nasdaq. I wonder, is there an S&P name that's making new highs or something? That's really pushing things over there? Not that I care too much, we're just trading price action, but... It's always interesting when you see differences like that. Bruce, good morning. How we doing? So, I mean, you guys know what I'm watching now, right? I'm long. The bear case is this. Always look at the enemy case before your own. So I'm going to get rid of those just because, for the sake of clarity, but I am thinking about that. Caden started out the day missing my take profit by 1 tick and then went and stopped me out. Been rough since then. That's gonna happen, man. It's just math. It's gonna happen. And you know what else is gonna happen? It's gonna miss your stop loss by 1 tick and go and hit take profit. That's what we don't like to talk about. Because when it works in our favor, we don't think about it that way. When it works against us, it's ugly. Works both ways. It's gonna happen both ways. Move on. On to the next. Yeah, spoon, top left. I requested a payout from Take Profit Trader this morning. It got approved in, no bullshit, like 90 seconds. I couldn't believe it. Like, all prop firms should be like this. All right, bulls. About time. Let's take it up through the high. Take out some stops. Not big on that close. Inside close, see that? Popped through, took out a few stops, pushed us maybe 4 points, then closed inside of that previous wick high. Not a big fan of that, but let's see if the bulls can clean that up. There's a decent close out of the bulls. We can pop up through 250. Nah, Rick, I didn't add here. I entered and I held with conviction. We never got a stop out point, at least for me. For you, maybe you did. That's fine. Follow your plan. But no, I didn't add on this trade. This has been a long son of a gun. No, I'm not taking partials. God, you guys are all scared of everything, man. Oh, man, I think it's going to go down. I better take partials at 2 points in the money. That's not my plan. You're giving your edge away on a silver platter. You can do that. I'm not going to. My plan was not to take partials. Had I added, I'd be scaling in and scaling out. This trade, for me, is one entry, one pull. The only way to get rid of fear is to stop caring as much. On all these trades, there are plenty of people in the chat who care more about the outcome of this trade than I do. I do not care, because this is one of many trades I'll take this week, one of more than many trades I'll take this month, and I'm just doing my job. If this one wins, if this one loses, I don't care. I'm still gonna go eat lunch. I'm still gonna go fucking train shoulders tonight. That's it. It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna make money at the end of the month. You guys care too much because you're trading too big. Have the discipline to size down and trade smaller, right? Have the discipline to not say, oh my God, I better take these 2 points because I think it's gonna go down. Come on, man. If there's no reason to take it early, you don't. If there is, you do. And what does a reason mean? Well, you have to determine what that means for you. For me, it's an entry that I would enter the opposite direction if I were flat, or if it takes one of my precautionary orders that are already put out. Stop or take profit, right? We haven't seen that yet. There is no bar here that I would have entered short if I were flat. So I'm still long from all the way back here. You guys want to make like big money, you have to not care as much. Like, Someday you're going to have to be able to lose $400,000 on one trade and not give a shit. Now, obviously that, that comes with scaling. It's all relative, right? But isn't that kind of the goal? Isn't the goal to be able to lose $3 million in 1 week and I'll make 9 next week, fine. I did what I needed to do. Isn't that kind of the goal? Don't let the anxiety of, oh my god, I think it's going to go down, make you pull it at 3 points. You put it on for a reason, that wasn't the point. Right now, if you get a short setup that happens to be 3 points in the money, and you're like, oh, I'm long and I would enter that short, then I would say, okay, then you can justify pulling it at 3 points. But most of the time, a lot of you guys are taking, and I've seen with my one-on-one people, I've seen so much data at this point. This is so common. You get scared, you pull it at 2 points. No one's pulling their losers at 2 points because they're scared. They're gonna let it go and hit their stop. Now what do you end up with? You end up with a massively inverted reward to risk ratio and a stupid low probability of success. Okay, you can have, there's another problem. Everyone thinks you need to have some massive reward to risk ratio to make money. Nope, you can make money with a 1 to 17 reward to risk ratio. As long as your probability is ridiculously high, you can make money. The math also works the other way. You can have a really low win rate and a super high reward to risk, 17 to 1, and make money. And everything in between and further. Just follow your fucking plan. Grow a pair. You want to make big money? Be a man. Or a woman, whatever. Be an adult. If you want to go gamble, you can go to stake.com and do your fucking $4 spins on the roulette wheel and waste your life doing that. Have fun. Ah, yes. Roy, I believe I tweeted that one time. Damn straight. Casual, I'm live every day, brother, every morning. Where you been? As the years go on, YouTube has the YouTube algorithm is moving more and more toward interaction rather than like subscribers, which I think is probably a good thing. So if you, even if you're subscribed, if you don't like show up and like the stream and comment, you're eventually going to stop seeing it. And I think that's good. It creates more of a democratized environment, kind of. Because the things that you like, you're going to tend to interact with, and I think that's fair. So, best way to make sure you see it is to just press like or talk to people in the chat or whatever you want to do. ATR is now below 10. We're below 10 on the ATR on the 2-minute chart. ATR, of course, is the average range of a 2-minute bar. Puts us into the know about volatility. See if we get a pop up through the high. All right, I'll take that. 1,800 bucks. Let's move on. Got 1,800 out of that. that scalp took damn near an hour. That's too long. The market volatility is tight right now. ATR is below 10. But we can't be spending that amount of time on one scalp. Well, I guess we can, but I'd prefer not to. Damn it. So let's see if we can get this market just crashing. So it lights a fire under America and people start actually doing things, making decisions here and increase the volatility for us. Or Trump could just say something crazy and we could get this thing moving 800 points. That would be helpful right now. Draw like that. You could also draw it realistically like this. What do you guys think the average is? Say the average is probably about that. Probably about the average of what most people would draw. So we have kind of a long wedge here that I imagine is going to get snapped up here at some point soon. Trading inside of this, by the way, that's very tough. About 12 points wide. Yes, sir. Gotta love it. Just chop into to kill options premium. Hey, if it's gonna chop either way, rather than just sitting here and complaining about it, I'd like to be on that net sell side anyway, which you guys know I'm a big fan of. Just farming premium in the background while we actually actively trade. What do you mean farming premium? Sorry, new. The first trading strategy that ever let me cover everything my now wife, back then we weren't married yet, and I needed to essentially go full time for both of us was net sell option strategies. So very basic stuff, running the wheel, spreads, multi-leg strategies, simple stuff too, covered calls, cash secured puts. It's not all that complicated, but there's built-in edge to net sell option strategies. That's why that market exists. People don't stop to think about this kind of thing. Like, why does the options market even exist? If you're giving so much leverage to the buyer, what's in it for the seller? Well, edge, probability is in it for the seller, right? So it's kind of like the seller's playing the role of the casino, and the buyer of these, especially shorter dated, like less than 45 days out, options is playing the role as the player, willingly. Willing adults, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's just how the market functions. So the seller says, yeah, I'll give you access, to my leverage for really cheap. What are you giving me in return? And the buyer says, tell you what, I'll give you a really high probability of being able to keep my premium. I'll say, all right. Every once in a while, you get maybe burned a little bit, but in the long run, again, there's built-in edge, so it generates relatively consistent revenue if you know what you're doing, which doesn't take all that long to figure out. Just study all the Greeks, understand how they operate, understand how the market functions, and you'll figure it out. But that shouldn't be the only thing you're doing. I do think you should be taking an active trading approach as well. That is more like a background. And also, every once in a while, IV will die in the market, and then the premiums kind of dry out a little bit, and you generate a little bit less revenue for the time being. It's really, really nice when IV is really high. You can make a lot of money for very little effort if you just kind of look into, and figure out what you're doing. But when that IV dries up, man, you're going to be happy that you're also actively trading because that revenue is going to not be what you're used to. The premiums shrink, right? IV gets deflated across the premiums, across the board. In most of the tickers are going to be running this in. So do it all. Do it all. Trade actively. I like small cap momentum stocks pre-market. I like futures after the bell. That's a good revenue generating / scalability combination. In the background, I like net sell option strategies and driving the revenue back into the market long term. That's my business plan. All right. ATR is now down below 9. We're tightening up, baby. This is going to snap up and increase in volatility here. It's just a matter of when and which way do we pick. And when that occurs, I'll be ready to take some scalps here, but we need that to happen sooner rather than later. This is killing volatility. 20 seconds out till the rollover here of this 2-minute bar. All right, Bull's trying to break us out here. Let's see if they can. It's going to take a lot to convince me here. All right, there's an attempted push here out of the bull. It's going to get wicked down pretty quick. Yeah, this is going to take a lot to convince me that we're actually breaking out, because this volatility has just been getting pummeled. All right, let's see if the bulls can break this baby out here. It's going to take more than that to convince me. But what I am going to do is we know that wedge is there. I'm just going to clean that up for the sake of keeping our trading space clear. Try not to leave lines on your chart, by the way, as they kind of get outgrown by the market. I delete them as soon as I possibly can to keep a fresh set of eyes. Because if you leave things up, it really can influence the way you look at things. And when it no longer really serves its purpose, get rid of it, look with a fresh set of eyes, you might see something different that's more obvious. Yeah, I mean, listen, for me to get short here, I definitely would need to see a pretty aggressive signal bar, probably ideally 2 growing bear bars closing near their lows in a row. I think that's what I would need here to get short. I'm not really interested in fighting this trend. It's just too hard. Like, I mean, listen, guys, it sounds silly, but after years and years and years, I think most people come to the conclusion that, hey, the market, this is a really big ship. It's easier to make money, even when you're scalping, if you're just willing to not fight something like this. Unless you get confirmation. Right, now confirmation, another big mistake, does not mean 100%. It means maybe probabilities 55 to 65% that your trade goes to your take profit before it's, before it stops you out. To keep things simple. Now, there are varying amounts of confirmation that traders will wait for, right? If you wait for more confirmation, what happens to probability? Goes up, but your reward to risk sucks in. If you use less confirmation, you can enter early and get a really big potential reward to risk, which is great, but then what happens to probability? It sucks down, right? It's all just a math equation. That's it. That's all we're doing. No, I dropped out of college after 1 year because I was terrified of the ceiling that I was going into. I was going to school for marketing, and they made me take a bunch of gen ed classes, year one, as they make everyone take. And I sat there and thought to myself, this is really dumb. This is really dumb. I'm paying them to make me take courses that are irrelevant to what I'm actually trying to go to school for. And the ceiling, even if I become a really good marketing rep for a company, the ceiling, we're talking maybe high six figures, maybe if I'm the top guy in the company, $1 million a year. And even at 18 years old, that terrified the hell out of me. And I dropped out. I said, I'm not doing this. And I left and struggled for years to try to figure some shit out. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I would do it again. Every single time. If you're currently in college, and by the way, I'm not trying to talk you out of college. There's a lot of great reasons to go to school. But if you're currently in college and you're like, dude, I can't even make enough money going to school for what I'm doing for it, to like, this is not going to fulfill me. I'd much rather just accept uncertainty, which, by the way, every job is uncertain. They could fire you tomorrow, let's be honest. Like, accept uncertainty and just bet on me. If that's you right now, I went first. Maybe you should do the same. Well, I didn't go first. A lot of people have dropped out before me, obviously, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, listen, again, hey, the old cliche thing, like, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, there's a million other things. Obviously, great to go to school. But if I think most people know that they're going to be an entrepreneur by the time they're about 8 years old, at least I did. That's not your path, man. And in real life, money doesn't flow how people like to tell you it does. It doesn't. The guy with the most letters after his name doesn't necessarily make the most money. And then all of a sudden, some kid who's 19 who figures out some hack in real estate, legally, of course, takes advantage of a hot market, gets into flipping houses because he knows a lot about being a contractor, and he goes and makes $6 million as his second year at 20 years old. Meanwhile, there's a guy who went to school for, 17 years or whatever the hell, with 26 letters after his name. That's great. Who's looking at this kid like, what the fuck? Money doesn't flow the way that people teach you it does. It flows to high earning industries and whoever can play the game the best. There's a lot of industries: medicine, the market, real estate, insurance, huge. Yeah, I mean, Zay, that's the reality, right? We're not talking about this to scare anybody, but that's just the truth. And even at 18, contemplating dropping out, I was thinking like, well, I'll tell you what. If I bet on myself, I'll make damn sure I never sleep under a bridge. At least I'll do everything I can to make sure of that. Everything in my power, right? But you can work, I mean, it's tale as old as time. You can work for a company and 32 years in, they say, hey, we don't need you anymore, brother. See ya. I don't know. It's putting a lot of faith in another person, another man or another woman, whatever. It's not me. Can't do it. Can't do it. But that's my truth. Listen, my reality is I would rather sleep in a car and work on something on my own. Like, genuinely, I would rather we sleep in a car and work on something on my own than work for somebody else. And that's just my truth. A lot of people don't feel that way, rightfully so, because that's kind of nuts. All right, let's see if we get a nice bull bar here closing near the high. If we do, we might have another entry. I want to see it close above this wick. We're 1 minute and 13 seconds out. $50 seconds out. Let's see what we get. All right, Bulls, come on now. Give us a nice clean close. Much closer to the wick of that bar. Couple seconds to clean this up. Inside close. No trade. Next bar. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm gonna go grab some coffee. Don't go anywhere. Back soon. All right, baby, we are back. We have a decent little potential setup forming here. Eerily similar to the first setup. However, if it does set up, I gotta put it on. It filled there. Pop that protective order below the curl. Pop that up. There we go. All right, see if we can get a little push. So again, range mark, you gotta be willing to take on a little bit of heat if it comes to it. Can't just expect instant resolution out of every setup, though. That is a setup I gotta put on. Disney, hit me up, brother. They better come with the bag. The reality of voice acting is a lot less exciting than people think. All right, 27 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. All right, there's the rollover. Eerily similar to the first trade, huh? Let's see how this bar closes here. We got 62 seconds till that occurs. Damn, Chris, you've been around for, what is that now? It's almost 4 years. Since it was just the voice, man. Hey, Peter. Doing well, brother. Every time I watch you, I see Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove. Man, Kronk was all sauced out, man. I'll take that. All right, minute 27 left here on this 2-minute bar. On the bright side here, things are starting to widen out. So this volatility here is kind of starting to resolve itself. ATR is back above 10. We were, I think, beneath 10 for sure, maybe beneath 9 at one point. So this is nice to see, volatility increasing. Michael, very, very good question. Do you ever see this setup and go opposite due to it being a range market, or always go with continuation if it's a good bull close? Just curious. Yeah, on stream many times I've actually done the opposite. So for example, short this rollover. I bought that rollover here because it's it's a range market, but with a strong intraday bull trend. So I'd buy that close accepting, hey, we might take some heat on. If it does stop me out, I want it to be beneath this curl, which is where my stop currently is set. Kind of make it earn that, right? Get beneath that curl, and then it's like, all right, stop out, move on, see if a short setup does present itself, or if we just bounce back higher and I can get long for a reversion. But I don't like to fight this. You know what I mean? But, hey, this might end up being a sideways trading range. A lot of possibilities. Got to look at every kind of case. Yeah. Our two trades so far today have been eerily similar. First trade curled, put us in the money. Took profit on it. That trade took damn near an hour. Market's starting to kind of slow, at least as far as the upside move. It feels like to me. So we may end up seeing this turn into a sideways trading range. I don't have enough evidence of that quite yet. But I'm mostly looking at the 5-minute chart for that argument. Vin. Black. As far as what kind, if you're looking for, like, source of the beans, whatever my wife buys, I have no idea. What time frame are you looking at? This is the 2-minute chart. I've been executing off the 2-minute chart the last at least few weeks. It was a little too wicky previous to the last couple of weeks, so I was executing off the 5. But when I can, I prefer the 2. It's just a little quicker. The 5, while high quality, can start to be a little slow. All right, 40 seconds left here on this 2-minute. Let's see how this closes here. Small body. All right, from here on out, I'll let it work and hit my protective stop. Down here in this lull, when I get to a certain point, as far as probability, now this requires a little bit of discretionary decision making as you get deeper and deeper, closer to your stop, right? We got kind of a small bear body here, but had we gotten a bigger bear body that closed like 46, for example, you start to think, all right, probability-wise, if this were up here, I would cut it early. But now that we're this close, we're 2.5 points away from my stop, right? At this point, I think the probability almost shifts to like, well, at least make the market take out an extra 2.5 points. So what? You lose an extra 2.5 off your data on this particular trade, but at least it has to take out the curl low, which it has not been able to do too much of all day. So that's the plan here. It's going to stop me at this point, make it earn it. Savage, I bought the close of this 2-minute bull bar, closing above the previous bar's wick high with a small wick back. And we took on a bunch of heat, of course, but that's a good setup for me. Now, if the market were more sideways, like for example, here's a 5-minute. If the market was doing less of this and more of just this, I would have sold over the exact same setup. But in this market, it was a buy for me. You could say, yeah, but it's red. You know, well, it was still a buy. I would have to do it again, right? Gotta follow the process. Forget about each individual trade. Now, at this point, it's highly probable that we get stopped here on this trade, which is fine. We'll move on if that occurs. At that case, I'm thinking ahead here. If that does end up being what happens here, I got to start thinking about this. I think we're probably looking at a sideways trading range more than the intraday bull trend that we saw, which, by the way, is an interesting bull trend intraday because overarching on the daily chart, we're in a brutal range market. Just brutal. So it's pretty highly probable that we see this turn into a sideways trading range, at least at some point, and sustained today. Question is it now? That's the question. Yeah, Joe, you can absolutely do this. Absolutely, 100%. 100% you can do that if you would like. However, for me, I prefer to wait. If I'm scalping a straight up range, I will add to losers kind of arbitrarily, to be honest with you, depending on the size of the range. Now, of course, I'm looking at ATR, bottom of your screen. The blue is the average range of a 2-minute bar. That helps in making that decision. But in a market like this, where it's kind of a range in an overarching intraday bull trend that is inside of itself an overarching market range market, right on the daily chart, there's levels, there's tiers to this. I would want to add, if I were going to, on another bull signal bar, if we got it. Kind of like this, to be honest with you. However, right now I'm looking at this a little too much. You know, we might end up seeing, there's kind of a flat bottom wedge there, right? And this is the attempted breakout. So I don't plan to do any adding here. Just gonna let this trade earn whatever it earns. It'll either earn me some money or earn its stop out. No in between. We're getting a few headlines here, by the way, from the Fed's daily. We still have some work to do on inflation, as we all know. We're in a good place. We need to finish the inflation job. Nothing too market moving. By the way, we've got a whole bunch of new people here. Appreciate you guys joining us. I'm live every day doing this. Well, not losing money necessarily, but here we are. So I hope to see you join the crew. Subscribe. Thomas, what's up, brother? How we doing? Good to have you. Are we adding another Chris to the regulars? What's up, Chris? Good to have you. I think we have about 4 regulars who are all named Chris. We've got Chris K. We've got Traden Chris. Now we have another Chris K. Chris Klein. Damn. Chris Castle, I think we actually legitimately have 4. At least 4. All right, Bulls. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Are we going to see a repeat of trade number 1 on the day? Christian, good to have you, brother. Well, I'm not too big on that bar. It's gonna stop me again. I needed to earn it. Take out that previous curl. You can see this stop is a point below this curl. The longer and longer we go, the more I start to get convinced that I think this little intraday bull trend is turning into a sideways trading range. And these trades can get a little bit sloppy as far as management. Which is why, again, if it's going to stop us here, at least in the position we're currently in, I got to see it earn it by giving up this. Because all of a sudden then, the intraday bull trend, here's a 5-minute chart, shows it better, that then turned into a sideways trading range, we think is what's happening, is maybe going to start taking this out and curling back inside of the range. Which all goes back to tier number 1, which is bottom of your screen. Brutal range market for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So let's see if that ends up occurring here. You know what, Taz? Might be coming for me too. Again, at this point in the trade, management gets a little difficult. When you enter a trend that turns into a sideways trading range, there are a few things you can do. You can start adding in the low end of the range if you would like. The problem is if you start adding on returning bull bars, well, now you're adding in the middle of the trading range, which if I were flat, you guys know I prefer to stay away from the middle of the trading range. You could take it off as you near break even, which would be the top of said trading range. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, if we get there. Or you let it earn its stop out, taking out the wick low that you originally put your protective stop at. For good reason, by the way. So lots of options. I think a lot of times too much action is a mistake. In a scenario like this, this is so very nuanced. You might do something different than me. You might be, you know what, I'm going to add in the low end of the range. Totally cool. Wouldn't yell at you for doing that. I might do the same in a certain scenario. But man, when you're in a situation like this, I think let it work, see what it can do, and if it stops you, which is the higher probability occurrence right now, of course, move on. Move on to the next trade. That's the game, right? Who cares? You're gonna lose. Gotta get good at losing. Well, ATR, we're now down about 8, just below 8, 7.8, which is not fantastic. We saw a similar thing kind of happen yesterday this time of day. I think I was off stream by now this time of day, yesterday. But it slowed, and then the afternoon it picked up a little bit again. Yeah, Taz, you could draw a triangle, 100%. 100%. That is what's going on right now, I would argue. Now you start thinking, well, okay, but what about management here on this trade? Well, you guys know, wedges like that are very, very close to 50-50. So I've yet to have really a great short setup that I would enter if I were flat, since I entered the long. I had reason to enter the long, which is why I entered the long. And we're now in a 50-50 wedge. So, again, management, this becomes a management question. There's never just one answer to the management question. There's always a lot of answers. And for a lot of people, I think, in some scenarios, they do too much. So, in a case like this, again, let it work. If it's going to stop me, it's going to have to earn it. Not out of some like spiteful mentality, but just thinking about the math here. I'm deep enough in the hole on this particular scalp anyway, which by the way is not really a scalp at this point. It's taken volatility so low today that mathematically speaking, I want to see the intraday bull trend that has now turned into a sideways trading range at least break the wick low that I initially placed my protective stop under in order to hit me out. If it's not a short, for me, it's probably still a long, right? It's not a great long at this point, of course, sideways trading range, but there's really not a lot for me to do at this point other than wait this trade out. Again, there's a lot of things that doesn't make it the only answer, right? You could manage early, you could say, I'm just gonna cut it here. Wouldn't yell at you for doing so. That'd be totally fine. A lot of ways to trade. A lot of ways to manage each individual trade. Oh, is this it? Starting to get kind of hungry. We'll see if this is it. Yeah, if it's gonna stop me, it's gotta take out where my cursor's at, that wick low of the initial protective stop spot. Jim, Nico. Hey, Nico, do you ever consider not going long after a 200-point up move and at the month high? I don't think it matters, personally. I'm trading price action, and understanding that it's a range market intraday is enough for me. Just saying, you know, that's kind of the same mentality for everybody here as saying, it's down 600 points, man. Can't go down 900 points, gotta buy. It's a bear trend, it's not a buy, it's definitely a short. At least probability-wise. Right now, the market would cease to exist. I don't want that to come off like I'm saying, 98% probability. It's not. It's somewhere between 55 and 70 in a hard trend that your trade's going to work out for you, assuming a 1-to-1 reward to risk, right? Just keep the numbers easy. But no, I'm trading the price action. There's a lot of ways to look at that, right? I mean, 100 points, 200 points, 400 points. You know, where do you stop believing what the price action is telling you? At the end of the day, the price action is what's real, and the market context is what's real. You put those two together, you make the best decision you can in the moment, and you move on with your life. This trade, man, this is playing with us here today. It's a wedge, baby. Can't deny it. Can't deny that. As far as management, there's no task for me to do at this point. Okay. Well, at this point, this trade... You know, believe it or not, this trade's still not as long as our first trade of the day. As far as time in the trade, right? It's been a weird, kind of a weird day for me so far. And first trade, made money on the first trade. It went instantly. 9.5 points in the money. Wasn't enough, so it went from being maybe a 15, 30 second trade, whatever it was, to like 50 minutes. Which, you know, I don't love when that happens, but if there is no reason to manage it, which, by the way, time can be a reason to manage it, if you're getting near like the 350 algo, something like that, but this time of day, there's nothing to do. This is the 2-minute chart. Auto. By the way, I'm trading Take Profit Pros and Apex accounts today. Take Profit is still running, believe it or not, their 4th of July sale, which is ridiculous. If you use code BIG, they give you 40% off the upfront test fee, and then they wipe the $130 activation fee. So when you pass, you pay nothing if you use the code, which, again, I don't know how long that deal is going to last. That was supposed to be their 4th of July deal. They're still running it, but they might pull that any minute now, so I'm taking advantage of it. Because believe it or not, I do pay for all my accounts. I don't like just get them for free. It's like watching this thing in slow motion. Moves up 5 points, chat goes crazy. Alright, what is ATR at now? ATR is at about 7. Let's see if we can get that expanding a little bit. That would be very nice. $265 is an area to watch. We got those wick highs back there. Are we going to get a drawn-out version of the first trade of the day? Oh man, I shouldn't say that out loud. Fed's Daily. A couple of headlines here, just in the last minute or two. The stock market is a measure of optimism in the economy. Of course. Business people have cautious optimism, and that's reflected in the stock market. All right, we're 35 seconds away here from the close on both the 5-minute and the 2-minute charts. You can see that top left is the 5, top right is the 2-minute, which is the one that we've been looking at with the execution screen. So about 20 seconds out here, both of those will be rolling over. There it is. You know, decent rollover there out of the 5, but I gotta tell you, I'm not too happy that we're having trouble reclaiming that wick at 265. That is a region to keep an eye on. Well, my protective orders are out. Do I dare? With my track record of getting up for 2 minutes, do I dare? I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I will be back as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully this thing, every time I get up, this thing moves 50 points. So maybe it'll work in our favor. I'll be back in 2. Don't go anywhere. We're back. I think I got away with it. All right, stop is down at 243.50. Let's see here. Oh man, ATR is below 7. Well, I think it's below 7. Well, it's around 7. Oh, look at that wick. You guys see that? All right, this might be it here. Let's see. No headline coming through yet. There we go. That's going to stop us there. Look at that copy trader mess up. Got a flip. That's the ghost order issue. All right, we're flat. Well, after all of that ridiculousness, you guys remember, I total P&L yesterday at the end of the day was 6K, including the Take Profit Pro that I traded on its own. And we're down. There you go. We're down. Yeah, it's gonna be cut off. Well, we're down $1,800 currently on the day. I need to go hit lunch because I'm very hungry. We're moving, so I gotta go hit lunch, and then I will be back probably because it's already 12:30 Central. So I'll be back probably within 15-20 minutes, and I'm gonna scalp. I'm not gonna stream it, but I'm gonna scalp the afternoon, and we'll see if we can clean this up. and I'll tell you how it goes tomorrow morning. Right? Whatever. This is pretty small, right? I'm more so, I gotta be honest, I'm frustrated with the fact that the market's not moving very much. That has been very frustrating to me these last, honestly, few weeks total. I've still been able to do okay. But volatility, man, like this is frustrating. We have not moved any more than 30 points total. Really? I mean, if you want to include this wick, fine, but 35 points in the last hour plus. Realistically, the last hour and a half. So, either way, I'll maybe watch another bar or two here and see. But then I gotta hit lunch, come back. So, headline from a few minutes ago, likely the one that wicked us out there. It's gonna bounce now, doesn't matter. Move on. It says US is set to impose 93.5% tariff on battery material from China. Okay, fine. But right now, I mean, if we look at the 5-minute, guys, this intraday bull trend has turned into just a brutal sideways range market. So if I'm going to do anything before this range market breaks one way or the other, I'm going to put my head down, scalp, buy low, sell high, buy back lower mentality until it breaks. Stay away from the middle third of the channel. That's pretty much it. All right, 33 seconds out till the close of this 2-minute bar. It's going to be a shrinking bull body, it looks like, yeah. With a half decently sized wick up top. All right, guys. All right, it's about that time. I need to go hit lunch. I will come back, sit down, and see if we can clean this baby up. And we'll see how we finish. And, I'll let you guys know tomorrow on stream. All right, guys. A lot of new people here. Hey, appreciate you joining us. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I am scalping live every single day here on YouTube. Use code BIG, B-I-G, best deal always at Take Profit Trader, which right now is a hell of a deal. And Apex is still right now, by the way, 80% off single day pass. So Apex is what I like to use for scaling. I'm running quite a few PA Apex accounts right now. Not the most I ever have. But how many do I have? 6, 7, 8, 9. Hang on, wait. Fucked up the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right now I'm running 12 Apex PAs. And I've got 3, soon to be 4 Take Profit Pros. I'm sorry, 13 Apex PAs. I forgot to count the leader. And 3, soon to be 4 Take Profit Pros. So it's really not that many. At some point I plan to scale total to maybe 30 or 40 across multiple firms. I'll be adding Tradeify, I think, next. So, alright guys. As far as the news schedule here today, yeah, Trump's signing some executive orders at 3 Central. Alright, it's time for me to get out of here. I'll be back in the afternoon. Alright, guys. Hey, use code BIG. Best deal always. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Subscribe. Be patient. And when it comes, Fucking hit it hard. See you tomorrow.